Our final speaker of today is Conor Walsh from the University of Greenwich. Hello, Conor. Conor's asked to have a few minutes to talk about the specific one-to-one support that he could give to businesses who are thinking about carbon neutrality, who want to make a start with a plan, but don't quite know how to do it and need a bit of help with that. So am I saying that correctly, Conor?
You're spot on, Flo, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm assuming everyone can hear me. Hello, everyone. So my name is Conor. I'm an environmental scientist based at the Natural Resources Institute in the University of Greenwich, in a research institute called the Natural Resources Institute. And we are a interdisciplinary research group that is based around trying to identify opportunities for improving the livelihoods of individuals right across the food system globally, but also trying to reduce our environmental impact in tandem with improving livelihoods and trying to make agriculture a sustainable venture, not just a means of profit. So in a nutshell, I'm involved in a project called as part of the wider UK Community Renewal Fund. Phil, can you press the slides button? So thank you. So basically, in effect, yeah, perfect. So basically, in effect, this is a interdisciplinary project based around. Sorry, can we go back? Let's see. There we go. So this is an interdisciplinary project based. Oh, there we go. Based around Kent, three segments of Kent, Greenwich, Medway and Swale, trying to effectively leverage co-benefits across improvements in the availability of nutrient outcomes for individuals, particularly individuals that are or groups that might not have had the greatest opportunity to avail of healthy eating choices, but also trying to identify pathways or potential methods of removing barriers to decarbonisation within the wider Kent economy, in terms of trying to identify opportunities for sourcing more locally, for example, or trying to provide a forum for individuals that have common barriers to decarbonisation, as we heard earlier from speakers like Andrew and others, how very often one of the difficulties we find is that there is a lack of critical mass in terms of individuals sharing their same problems. So in effect, what we're offering in terms of this project is bespoke one-to-one support in terms of individuals and organisations developing their own net zero pathways. And I specifically in terms of trying to apply some of the concepts and practices from life cycle assessment. I'm myself a life cycle assessment practitioner, so I empathise with much of the points made earlier by Andrew and others in terms of the value of this tool, but also as also the challenge in terms of trying to effectively provide some actionable and useful guidance in trying to identify opportunities for decarbonisation. So in effect, what we are offering is, free advice, support based around the types of processes and practices that others like Max earlier had highlighted, in terms of trying to draw the effective boundaries around the different aspects of your activity that contribute either directly, such as through Scope 1, or less directly through Scope 2, or indirectly in terms of the emissions embodied in your choice of supplier, and trying to provide a structured route for first identifying the activities that are most likely to embody emissions, but also provide a rigorous and methodological foundation for identifying levers for emission reduction. And I think this is very important because, as we've seen earlier, food systems, well, yes, of course, they contribute significantly to emissions worldwide, but also the food sector is itself an important curator for many of the carbon sinks and many of the existing carbon stocks through things like effective soil management practices. But again, also that is slightly counterbalanced by the fact that many agricultural commodities themselves embody non-CO2 greenhouse gases such as methane and N2O, which themselves can be quite challenging to mitigate. And that's one of the biggest challenges of trying to my mind, to trying to implement and sustain emission reductions within the agricultural sector. So with that in mind, what we're offering is bespoke one-to-one support with organisations in terms of trying to organise and implement a net zero management and implementation plan, where regardless of their current status within that pathway, but they might already have identified some of the most important processes, or maybe not. Part of what this would involve is, as we've seen earlier from talks like Lara's, how important it is to be specific what we mean when we talk about net zero, and not just treat low carbon and zero carbon as being equivalent, or zero carbon and net zero carbon as being equivalent, which highlights the fact that we're all part of this wider food sector, and it's our role within a wider food system recognises that an individual organisation will struggle significantly to try to implement or to wholly decarbonise the entire breadth of its own activities. But by combining market signals in terms of, let's say, putting additional pressure for grid decarbonisation, or collectively demanding our suppliers adhere to pre-existing standards, it makes it much more feasible to envision a practical pathway towards decarbonisation. So if for any organisations that are interested, it's effectively me you'll be talking to. And here's my contact details. I'm very happy to chat. And thank you all. I've thoroughly enjoyed all the talks today. I apologize I haven't been able to be involved in the chat as much as I'd like. I'm up to my elbows in marking, which has its own particular challenges. So again, so thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today.
You're very welcome. And so people contact you, Conor, and then is there a limit to the support you can give? Is it how many hours are we talking? How many days, months?
Well, it's normally a day a week until June, effectively.
Until June. Fantastic.
Now, how that manifests, we can wait and see. But again, please, drop me an email or give us a call if you're interested. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Conor. I think with that, we have come to the end of our event. I have learned loads, and I'm going to definitely listen back to the recording. So the recording will be made available to you all as soon as possible. And we will collate all the questions into a document and send that to you as well. Any questions you have after this event, please send us an email. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can. You've got all the contact details of the speakers, if all's well with you already. For those of you who haven't received the speaker bio document, let me know and I'll resend that again. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for your long attention span. It was quite a mammoth online event, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope you as well. So goodbye, and speak to you soon.